I am so excited to introduce the Calgary Folk Club to Christie Lenée and to introduce Christie Lenée to the Calgary Folk Club. Welcome. I understand this is your first time to play Canada.
This is my first time playing in Canada, so I'm really excited about it. And Calgary Folk Club is the whole reason I'm coming to Canada, and then I ended up booking some other shows around it, but it's very
Well,
exciting. It's all thanks to
I
you.
we've heard about you from folks like Daniel Champagne, who's played the club, Alice Paul, and I've been kind of skulking around and watching you and going, finally got to see you live at Folk Alliance last year and just went, holy, for goodness sakes, why have we not had Christy here sooner? So we'll just
Aw.
blame that big pause that we had, but really excited to welcome you. For those folks who are unaware of your work, which, go online and check it out right now. But for those who are unaware, how would you summarize what it is that you do other than like freaking amazing, which is kind of how I
Oh,
summarize it.
wow. How would I summarize what I do? Well, I do a combination of instrumental fingerstyle, new age, tapping guitar meets singer-songwriter. Some have described it as Joni Mitchell meets Michael Hedges and Dave Matthews. It's a kind of fun little musical child. I do a lot of stuff in open tunings, fingerstyle, and also do some loops and play kind of layer instrumental stuff on top and have as a solo act created quite a large sound with an octave pedal, loops, vocal harmonizer, and just a way to translate some of my studio recordings in a live setting as a solo act. And I did recently add another musician who's helping me to embody that, Katie Marie, who plays percussion and bass. So this will be our first tour together. So it's very exciting that I'm getting to bring that to the Calgary Folk Club because you're such a legendary place. I'm excited about it.
Well, I want to get back to your guitar playing, but you're also an acclaimed singer-songwriter. And so one of the things that I've really loved was it's not so much storytelling as emotion evoking.
Oh wow.
Not
Emotion.
saying that you don't tell stories, but it's just like I felt like I was on a kind of an emotional video or
Wow.
listening to
Wow,
your
I'm glad we have that on video because that's a very interesting way to describe it. It is a very emotional experience for me. So if you're having that experience, that means that it's translating. I always feel like music is such a healing thing and I do, touch my feet into the healing arts a bit, yoga and meditation. So some of my music does have some of this sort of drone elements and this very peaceful energy that can come through. But and then there's also very high energy songs that are very like celebratory anthems.
yeah.
So it is a journey, a musical journey to go on in each show, which is a lot of fun to create.
Well, and for sure, when you said translate, I'm like, I'm not even sure how much was translated. It's like I felt like I was right in there with you. So that journey, that buckle in, folks, kind of piece, because there is that sort of everything is all right with the world. Holy, for goodness sake, is it ever exciting?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things to kind of help do that. I think music is a massive way of being able to change the energy in a room. And it's something that I don't take for granted as an artist. The fact that I have the opportunity to create a feeling of peace, if I want to create peace or calm, or if I want to create joy and celebration, different musical sounds and the different instruments and the way that I'm delivering it can, of course, do that. And it's something that who don't necessarily know a lot about music might not understand what's going on, but they feel something. And if they do, then I've done my job.
Well, and super accolades that you've had, which sometimes overshadow that. It's like, oh yes, and by the way, 2017 International Fingerstyle Guitarist, 2019 Acoustic Guitarist of the Year, 2021 on the list of the best acoustic guitarists in the world right now. Like, yes, and yeah.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, it's been really fun. I studied classical guitar from about age 11 to my early 20s and very heavily in high school. And and then did jazz in college, jazz guitar and music composition. And so I have quite an eclectic musical background. And what was interesting is I'd been studying classical for several years before I even consciously discovered folk music. My mother listened to Joni Mitchell a lot when I was a kid, but I didn't consciously listen to her until my early 20s, and then had this feeling like her voice is so familiar and it is everything. And my mom's like, "You've been listening to her since you were in the womb." And I'm like, "Oh, no wonder why she sounds so familiar." But it was interesting to study classical guitar and this, stuff, like Bach inventions, and then go from that to years later getting my first acoustic guitar and strumming a chord. It's so I think I was always coming from a place of thinking more of an orchestral um scenario from my background in classical, and I think it comes through in my writing and trying to create this ensemble experience with one guitar, and
Yeah.
both for the instrumental and the singer-songwriter. So but that's the classical guitar is something that I honor for my ability to try to, you know, create a much bigger sound with a guitar than that's normal, I
Well, and
suppose.
we're super excited to have you at the club, and I'm not sure that you realize that you're kind of coming back to Joni Mitchell Mecca because she went to college in Calgary, and that's where
Yes.
she began sort of doing the coffee house things. And so seems really appropriate to bring you and have you experience our audience and our audience experience you. Um,
Yes.
March the 29th. I just had a little moment there. The Friday night, March the 29th. I believe I've got that right. Tickets are
Yes.
available. If people can come in person, that's awesome. But I know that a lot of people can't because they live far away or for whatever reason. So we do have a live stream that we offer as well. So you've got fans all over the world and they can join us. They don't have to stay up to stupid o'clock. It's good for
Oh,
72 hours following. And so we hope to have a large Christie contingent joining us that night at the Calgary Folk Club.
oh, that's perfect. Well, I can't wait to share my music with your audience. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody and sharing.
Perfect. We will see you then.
Looking forward to it. Ah!
Whoops, a PS. I blew that. It's the 28th, Friday the 28th at the Calgary Folk Club at the Dalhousie Community Center in Calgary. Only excuse I can give you is that I'm sitting in Australia, so it was the wrong date, but Friday night. See you in Calgary.
Friday the 28th. It would be Saturday in Australia, perhaps, but Friday the 28th.
In Cal where we're going to be. Yes. All right. We'll see you then. You are around the rest of that week in different places like Canmore and Lethbridge. So
Yes.
folks in the Alberta area have a bunch of chances to see you. We're looking forward to having you at the Calgary Folk Club 28th Friday of March.
Ready for it. Can't wait.